It's no secret that Clint Eastwood is one of the greatest actors, not just of his own generation, but of any generation, with a career spanning pretty much forever. This dude's done it all and looked fucking badass every step of the way. Seriously, nobody glares like Clint Eastwood. The later decades of his career saw him transition more and more into directing work, producing a wide variety of thoughtful, sensitive stories, often centered around damaged, aging men finding redemption through relationships with younger characters. And it's tough to think of a better example of this than Gran Torino, a film about an aging Korean War veteran who forms an unlikely friendship with a young Asian kid next door. Everything about this movie, from the smart, sensitive writing to the slow, thoughtful pace, the perfectly drawn characters, and the outstanding performances from everyone involved, just makes Gran Torino an absolute joy to watch. So pour yourself a round of shots and let's get into this, shall we? Eastwood plays Walt Kowalski, a bitter, foul-mouthed old war veteran who lives in a working-class neighbourhood in Detroit. And it's fair to say, Walt's not exactly in a good place in life. He's mourning the recent death of his wife, his health is failing, and he's estranged from his family, who he suspects are trying to pack him off to a retirement home. Even the neighbourhood around him is changing, and not for the better. Poor Asian families have moved in and displaced the former residents, and crime and gang violence is on the rise. Walt gets a taste of this himself when Tao, the teenage son of his next door neighbour, reluctantly tries to steal his Gran Torino to earn a spot in a local gang. Needless to say, Walt catches him in the act and puts a stop to that shit. Unfortunately, the gang aren't too impressed by this and try to punish Tao for his failure, but Walt stands up for him and tells them in no uncertain terms to get fucked.
We used to stack fucks like you 5 feet high in Korea, use you for sandbags.
Damn, this guy does not mess around. Anyway, Tao's family are embarrassed by his crime, so they command him to be a kind of helper for Walt to make amends. Walt's not interested at first, but he gradually sees the benefits of having someone around to do the stuff that he no longer can. And as time passes, an unlikely friendship begins to form between the two of them. The more Walt learns about Tao and his family, the more sympathetic he becomes to their situation and begins to let go of the anger and bigotry that's fueled him for so long. And when the gang comes back to take revenge on Tao's family for their previous encounter, Walt is prepared to sacrifice everything to protect them. Now, the story of a cynical, bitter old man gradually coming out of his shell and finding redemption through a chance encounter with a younger character isn't exactly groundbreaking stuff. But what makes Gran Torino so special is how damn well put together it all is. Eastwood's been doing this kind of stuff forever and knows exactly what he's doing. Walt is grouchy and abusive and heaps so much shit on Tao that it's almost comical to watch. Damn, he even stops by his local church to give his priest a hard time. But beneath all the insults and the angry glares, there's a hurt, lonely man haunted by past mistakes, seeing out the end of his life with nobody around to comfort him. And watching as the relationship between him and Tao gradually evolves from mutual distrust to grudging respect to genuine paternal friendship is just so damn rewarding. The writing of this movie is some of the best you'll find in modern cinema, and you begin to realise that each man fills a gap in the other's life. Walt's relationship with his own family is strained and distant, and it's pretty obvious he hasn't been the best father, while Tao doesn't even have a father to begin with. And like so many young men lacking a male role model to show them the way, he soon finds himself being drawn towards far more destructive ones. But the more time he spends under Walt's hard but ultimately fair influence, the more he comes into his own as a man and finds a better path in life. You can see that he's caught between the two major forces in his life, trying hard to forge a new path for himself, even as life tries to pull him back down the old one. And by the end, Walt realises that Tao is worth giving up everything to save. The movie copped a lot of flack recently when Eastwood's co-star criticised it for being culturally and racially insensitive, which I find kinda sad to be honest. It's a film about a deeply flawed, damaged and bigoted man who ultimately learns the errors of his ways and redeems himself, so obviously he's gonna spout offensive views, it's kind of the point of the character. And the movie, to its credit, doesn't shy away from this, because it would do all of the characters a disservice if it did. The truly sad thing is that I can't shake the feeling that a movie like this just wouldn't get made today. Or if it did, it would be carefully neutered and sanitized, and Walt would probably be recast as the villain. But who the fuck cares? Gran Torino got made, it's awesome, and it can never be undone, no matter how much people complain about it. And if you haven't seen it, the drinker highly recommends you change that right now. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.